But if we make a concerted effort to build one day upon another, even if it's just a very small thing, and in most cases it will be a small thing. It's rare that we have a day where something monumental happens. Most days are not monumental, they're mundane. I'm a huge believer in the idea of small progressive movements towards goals. If you look at the course of an average day that we all go through, every so often, maybe 2 or 3 times in your life, there's one day which changes the direction of your life. But the vast majority of our days are unexceptional. They're just a boring, mundane day. You come home at the end of the day, and if someone asks you, what happened today? You would literally have to think back and be like, I'm not sure. That's probably a description of 95% of our days. So there's a chance in which you could drift through your life where only about 1 to 5% of your days have any real meaning, and that 95% of your life was a waste of time. And that's a tragedy. So we have to be very, very set on this idea that we have to maximize the use of all of our days if we're going to amount to anything in life. And that means at the end of every day, there has to be a concerted look on your part. What was the most significant thing that happened to me today, and how will it influence my life tomorrow? And if we can do this, your days become progressive. Most people live day to day where the events of yesterday have no bearing on the events of today, and the events of today have no bearing on the events of tomorrow. And this means your life will simply run in a flat line until the day you die. But if we make a concerted effort to build one day upon another, even if it's just a very small thing, and in most cases it will be a small thing. It's rare that we have a day where something monumental happens. Most days are not monumental, they're mundane. So on every one of these mundane days, we have to take one small little gem that happened. It may not be very big, something small, and add that to your performance tomorrow. And if we can do this over 10 years, something truly remarkable can happen. It's so easy just to let a day go and they say, I'll try again tomorrow. But until we get a sense of one day building upon another towards a goal, you'll never achieve anything. You'll just melt on, and 10 years will go by and you'll look back and say, what do I do? And what did I do? And there may not be anything significant behind you. If I can improve my performance in any given area of my life by even a very small percentage point, and then add day by day, you get this compounding interest effect where at the end of 5 years, something quite remarkable may have happened. You may have literally reinvented yourself in 5 years. You may have an entirely new skill set which you didn't have previously. And so it's up to us to do this, because the natural tendency is for days just to run into each other until by the end of the week you're looking back and say, what happened this week? I don't know, it's just gone. It's so easy to let that happen. There's so many distractions in life. There's so many things looking to grab your attention that you can lose a day, a week, a month, and even a year, even a decade. And it's up to us to ask, okay, well, what was significant, and how is it going to be built into my life tomorrow? And how does this relate to the goals that I have? And if you can do this, this is the basic idea behind Kaizen. And you can do remarkable things, and you can reinvent yourself many times over the period of your life. It's my belief that it takes around 5 years of full-time training to develop world-class skills in most athletic endeavors. There are many, many examples of people beginning training and somewhere between 5 to 7 years after the onset of their training, competing at the highest levels of their given sport and getting within the top 5 athletes in the world. There are many, many examples of this. That's a clear signal that it takes around 5 to 7 years of full-time training to get to world-class level in sports. You could extend that into other areas of life. You can become, in the same time it takes you to win an Olympic bronze medal, you could have become an outstanding day trader. So we, think about it, 5 years is not a long time. That means we all have within us this ability to reinvent ourselves. There's a lot of opportunities for you to change and adapt over the course of your life. I'm not going to say these things don't have value, but there's not really a need to go out there and do things that, you're terrified of. I mean, most of it works on a pretty mundane level where you just identify goals and you say, okay, what is required for me to get to those goals? I very much try in the training room to take the terror out of combat sports. Like when you think about it, combat sports are crazy. We're in the business of strangling people and breaking limbs. Okay, now on the face of it, that's a horrible thing. But when you just break it down and dissect skills into manageable components and train them at a level where nothing overwhelms you, you can get really good in a comparatively short period of time. And at no point were you ever thinking, my God, this is terrifying. It's just mundane daily training. The focus of my coaching is to make something which most people would find pretty scary, a guy on top of you squeezing your neck, and make it fairly mundane, is to take the scariness and the terror out of the equation rather than to put it in. I'm always very grateful that people are interested in what we do. We do have a slightly different approach to teaching the sport, and I'm always very grateful that people are interested in that they follow what my athletes do and saying this is an effective way of playing the game.